Please note that the following views and the opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily the views nor the opinions of the Master Force Group, YouTube.com, Free America Radio Network, our sponsors, our partners, and MFG is a private society, and nothing here is ever to be construed as hate, medical, nor legal advice. And listen to the Forbidden History prime time 7 days a week right here on the RealPublicRadio.net, because hidden beneath the sands of time lies the greatest of all mysteries. It's the Forbidden History. Unearth for yourself the secret truths that lie hidden just beneath the surface below our feet. What is it that the powers that be do not want you or I to know? Come and journey with us as we explore and dare to know, because it's all right here, coming your way 7 days a week on the RealPublicRadio.net, Free America Radio Network. Somewhere out there, it's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. Stand by for the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, and still time to call your friends. We'll be right back.
The missing dimension in world politics is the spiritual dimension. The problems of life cannot be solved by material means. Modern civilization is missing the point of life. Human life is meant for understanding spiritual values. Real knowledge is knowing yourself, what you are, what God is, and understanding your relationship and duty to God. It is our duty to understand God, abide by His laws, and learn to love Him. Then all of our problems will be solved. When men are not governed by God, they will be ruled by tyrants. The material world is just like a prison. The spirit soul is imprisoned in a material body which is imprisoned in the material world. We do not belong in this material world. We are spirit souls and belong to the spiritual world. Modern civilization is wrongly directed to the fulfillment of sense gratification, the basis of material life and a barrier to spiritual realization. The demonic believe that the enjoyment of the senses is the ultimate goal of life. However, it is not possible to become peaceful and happy in the attempt to gratify the temporary senses. The result is usually the opposite. A materialistic culture based on sense gratification agitates the mind and senses. Unless one controls the mind and senses, one cannot make any spiritual advancement. The great sages of all bona fide religions were completely free of material attachments because they knew that spirit is permanent while matter is temporary. Our present culture would have us debase ourselves and become more and more entangled in materialism so that the path to the spiritual world is blocked. The demonic wish to make this planet a closed system where it cannot function for the purpose it was intended. The material world was created to give man the opportunity to purify himself of his material consciousness, for the aim of life is to go back home, back to God. The demonic cannot go back home until they rid themselves of their demonic mentality, and so they wish to make it impossible for anyone else to return home. This is the ultimate goal of psychological warfare, to entangle man in materialism so that he cannot return home back to the Supreme Lord. Mind control in America. Break it.
And welcome to Forbidden History Live, the series, ladies and gentlemen, on Ask Dezert-Owl and the Original Thought Transliteration Project. I'm your host, Dezert-Owl. Good to have you. Want to welcome our friends that come on, Lisa out there in Wales, and anyone else listening in, and in the future when we do the replays. And good to have you. And just a quick announcement tonight, a heads up that there is a geo mass injection storm coming this way from the sun. And if you want to get fully up to speed on it, because I just was listening to Riverside Homestead with Cohen over there in on the West Coast. He did an excellent report. He just came out. So if, Ninja's going to put the link in the chat here, and then you can check it out after the program. I'm going to put the link, and he does a really great job, of researching and reporting stuff. So I recommend always subscribing to Riverside Homestead Life. He really does great work. Okay, so check that out. It's going to be happening within hours, and then throughout the weekend. There's like 6 ejections. So this is like the biggest thing we've seen since the 1800s, when uh, the wires went down back then, when they didn't have much but what do they call it? The Morse code system, and very primitive. But they were already hooked up on wires through the wire system, and they burned up. So anything's possible, and so just be prepared. Make sure you've got what you need ahead of time. Because if you can't go to the store and buy anything because it's electronic over there, then you better get it right away. Okay. And we have a special tonight on George Washington. That'll be coming up in a little bit, but I want to address 2 different questions, one by Maria out in Jersey in the Channel Islands, and then also by Damien down on the west coast of Australia. And we've been delayed for 2 weeks, had some technical issues. We've got a new phone system. Thank you to Susan out there in Long Island. And so Ninja now has an upgraded phone system, and it works like a modem. And so it's used in the transmitting of our signal. And so she had like a 5-year-old 3G, 4G phone, and so we're upgraded now, and we're hoping that we're going to have better quality, and maybe she can even engineer for me on the Odyssey channel, Forbidden History Live. So we'll find out, because we want to do Sundays over there. Okay, so that's coming up. But in the meantime, I'm going to hit up the questions that we have, and then we're going to go to our special on the George Washington inventing the presidency, and we'll show you that George Washington is King George III. It's not our whole presentation. It's just the first presentation I did, the first assembly of graphics. Then if you wanted to follow up on your own, you go to our special that we did, 3 parts, 1, 2, and 3, called The Serpent Cult: Symbolism of the World Communist Rulers. So that's where I got to go do my clips and pull that out of those 3 files, and then tie them all together, and then we'll have the complete. But I just wanted to give people that have not heard this yet a little sampler, and I'll have a couple graphics to share after the recording, because this is just a recording, and it's going to be about an hour. Okay, so you want to settle in and kick back, and then I may do open line at the end to see if anybody wants to call in real quick with any questions or comments, and then we'll probably wrap it up early this evening. Okay, so we'll play by ear, and so let me go find a question from Maria out there. She said, "Love your videos, but," and this is from the last program she posted her comment, "but who is God, and where does he come from? I mean, before God." Okay, that's a good one, because the truth is, there when the interpretation of God being Elohim or out of Babylon, but then Zulafame originally. Well, there was a time when that terminology did not exist, and and it's before creation. So let me I'll pull up my what do I got to do here? Um, okay, let me think how I want to do this. I'm gonna have to do screen share, right? Yeah, because I'm gonna go to words. And I'm going to, I've got to give an illustration on this one. So let me do that. Go to screen share. Okay, and I might as well start sharing the audio at the same time, because we're going to go right into the other presentation after this. So start sharing. Okay, and let me know if you got audio or visual okay, Ninja, please. And then I got to get this up. So, yeah, I'm opening up the Word document right now. I'm just going to look at her. In fact, what I'll do is I'll copy her comment and I'll pull it over onto the document. That way I can be looking at it over there. Okay, so yeah, you're good. Yeah, you can go ahead and start sharing copy, and then okay. Let's see here. Oh gosh. Excuse me. And I got to pull up the Word document. Okay, here we go. And I'll just pop that in. Control V. All right, there we go. So, but who is God? Okay, and we have to define the terminology. That's the thing we're dealing with. And I need some light now that I got this bright white screen on looking at me. I've got to get some light behind it. So hang on a minute. That that that. Okay, that's much better. All right. All right. So who is God? So if we talk about who is God? Oh, geez, now I'm getting hot. This thing's heating up over here. Hang on a minute. Go to a stand by for a moment, Ninja. I've got to get the air going. It's getting hot.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for that. And sorry, but I'm on the sunny side of the house, so I get the direct sunlight as it's sun setting, and all of a sudden it just started kicking in just as I'm ready to do the broadcast. So anyway, okay. Real Public Radio, so we can do anything like that. So okay, now let's adjust these questions again. So Maria wants to know who is God. Okay, so the term. Let's start with that. It's a good logical train of thought, because yeah. So let me bump this down one though. I got to bump that down. Okay. Isn't it interesting? Okay, so the word, I'll do the transition backwards. Okay, so today we use God. Okay, but it goes back to Babylon, and in Babylon we have Elohim, and these forms are corrupted forms. There is no I. The letter I is one of their codes. It's a Luciferian lunar symbol. That's why there's a dot on the I when it's a small I. And then the original word is And so there's where the love comes from. So this creation will define it as female by nature. Okay, in other words, physical matter. But the male is hiding within it, and so the okay, and so Elohim, is Babylon. So this is the original term then is this big one here, and that's pronounced Zul, Zul. So you see the word Zu, okay, which means everything in creation. That's why you go to a zoo to see all the animals of the world. And then Ul is the vision. There's your two circles are sun and moon, and then the L is the earth because everything bends down here on the earth. So the L, but then that's where we get the owl, and so we're in a lower state. Therefore, it's the bird who sees in the night, the darkness. Okay, the first two letters, the T means everywhere, and it means sacrifice. The second letter, it is the power letter, it's the lightning, but also it's got two planes, a higher plane, lower plane, what is above, what is below. And then the love. So out of this everything um, comes the great Trevane love, because it was based on love. It was made with the intention of love, and that's what we see with the sun shining. Yeshua did the illustration that doesn't he let the sun shine on everybody, even though the majority of the people, it looks like they're pretty bad. That he gives his love to everybody, hoping that they will wake up in this scheme. And then the H is the breath, so it's the love and the breath of on the I, the AY is the I, and then AYM together is plural of the haim. The breath is part of that. The haim, the many, which means the H is the many. So it's the power of sacrifice of creation's eye, with a vision for love in the breath of the many. So that's how you could express that literally by the lexicography of all the different components. Okay, and so female by nature, okay, uh, but then we at the end are introduced father by spirit. Okay, so we have both aspects. Always both aspects are there. You can't have one without the other. Okay, and so you're saying where then does this character, because this is not you hear we're going to go to the sacred name. I'll put it up anyway, so you see that real quick. Lord, it's what they say, Lord God. No, Lord. Well, yeah, that's what they say. See, they say Lord God, but God is Elohim. So we're dealing with Lord, the corrupted YHWEH. There is no W, but we'll use it because most people see it that way, which is correctly okay. Yavelheim. Maybe I can take that out. There we go. Okay. So I could have used two L's here. Whenever you see one L, there's always two L's, and that's part of the mystery. Okay. So we're not there yet. We're still talking about God. Okay. So I guess the way to move into it would be to talk about then Yahweh here. Let's start at the beginning. Okay, this is the way to do it. Let me think here. So we're in a reverse order. So now I have to okay, well I'm basing my approach on your question. So where he does he come from? Okay. So let's highlight this to help us out. Uh, okay, we can use that. And then just want to get a little darker. Hang on a minute. Come on. Okay. Not going to work. Okay. We'll just do this. So this is where you hear the term Lord God. So they are two different entities. You see, this is what's, and we're never explained this because of well, the control of information and the fact that they've corrupted everything. And that's, that's part of the problem. Wonder why this thing doesn't give me the option. Oh, here we go. Let's see if that'll do it. Okay. Let's pull it down here. Let's try that. Well, that didn't work good enough. Let me try it again. That'll work. Okay. Okay. So God, Elohim, Zulafhaim. Um, I guess what we have to do is now we have to define Lord Yahweh, Yahwehim. Okay. And so Yahwehim, I'll put it up above, literally means, okay, this big word here, let's go to the original meaning. And by the way, this is the, what we call the sacred name. So we'll put the sacred down at the bottom. So this is the, well, there's a terminology. Let me see how I want to go here. YHV. Okay, so we see it in the the other form is YHVH, but it's tetragram, and that means it's three. It represents electron, proton, neutron, the atom. Okay, and so the one who brings forth, and at the top we'll spell it out as I'll have to reduce the size of the font here. Go to a 12. Okay, so the so this word, I'm defining this word here right now. Okay, what this word means, and it is the great mountain of endless fire. So, but that's a metaphor. Um, that's a metaphor for the sun. Correctly, Zan, which means, so the sun is merely the logo. It's really his symbol. Okay, it's his symbol. Remember, Zan is like you go to the beach and you got sand. That's Zen, also pronounced with an E as Zen, meaning without number, impossible to count, infinite. So I'm going to go bigger on this. So we'll go a little bigger. Go to an 18. How about that? Okay. So this is the supreme. In other words, if we had to define each of them, then we would call this down here the Great Father, and Yeshua, this Father by Spirit, is YAH SHUAH, is Yeshua. Okay, so he is Father, because, and I can explain why in a second here. If the contrast between Father and Great Father. Okay, so this is the first time a presentation is being done to this degree. I've done the presentation of the meaning of these words, but this was such a perfect opener for a question, because the way everything has been written, everything has been designed in nature, everything is speaking, and therefore everything also in a logical uh, creation, logical uh, um, form, and also communicating. It's communicating for us so that we can get the picture. So the Great Father is before. Okay, let's do it like this. Before creation. There we go. BEFORECREATION. So the Great Father is before the creation. Okay, and so who is um, Yeshua? He is. We should add that actually perfect, the perfect creation. Okay, and so the Great Father, the Yavelheim, when the great mountain of endless fire, metaphor for the sun being the logo and his symbol, and so right here we have um, these expressions being the sun. Let's do it like this. The sun atom, the sun, okay, logo, logo, uh, a shavor, which is a corruption for word. Okay, so before the creation, we have the Great Father, who is also the Great Spirit. Okay, the Great Spirit, and we don't need to underline that. Okay, so the Great Spirit, and so he cannot operate, the Great Spirit, the Great Father, before the creation. He cannot directly engage us here in this universe, and the reason is because he is so great. And if you read in Second Esdras, um, Second Esdras, I don't know the site, but it's probably towards the end, because Ezra is fasting for 21 days, and he's told to eat flowers in the field for another 7 days, and he's getting these visions, and so he's asked, and they're in Babylon, they lost their citadel, they have no longer have a nation officially, it's over, it's done, and what comes back, of course, is the counterfeit, um, and so Ezra, is asking questions, and the Great Father is trying to Great Father in the character of Yeshua, okay, is so Yeshua is representing the Great Father, okay, and so he tells him that that if you brought all the stars of the cosmos together, he would still be 10,000 times greater in power. So the power of the Great Father is regarded as 10,000 universes. That much power. So it's beyond our wildest imagination comprehension. This power that he is. Yeah, it's a mind blower. So I'm going to blow this up a little bit. And this is all ad lib, because I don't need to prepare hardly before a program. I can do this as I go, because I get the program, because I've been doing it for so long, and it's expressed through the nature of the Ashavors, what they corrupted into the war of death. There's a D for death, and you don't have a D on sacredness because D is death and darkness and doom and destruction. But the Ashavor means the royal. Here's the eye. Here's the royal. So it's the royal eye at the center of the vortex, and the center of the vortex symbolically is the sun atom, but also the sun being the offspring of the Great Father, and therefore also the logo, meaning the true way. Look at it as two words: the true way. Okay, the true what way? The light that is emanating from Yeshua for the Father. So Yeshua, therefore, is the active agent. The active agent of the Father. So we can only see the Great Father through His Son. Okay, and which is known as His only loved seed. When He came up out of the water, only loved seed. This is not my beloved, but my only loved seed. So if you want to be loved, then you have to be in. If you want to be in a covenant relationship, you have to be in Yeshua, buried with Him in the grave through the operation of purification in the water of baptism, or the Avavatezering. Okay, so this is expanding. It's like, I didn't see it as this big when I started, but you see what's happening now. I'm gonna have to reduce the screen here in a bit, I guess. I got to reduce it a little bit to get it all in here. Um, yeah, I got to reduce it some more. Okay, and because I'm trying to give you the comparative shot, and you need to see both to have that. Okay, so there we are, and I apologize if you're using a small device, but you can get to a computer later and watch at, or a bigger pad or whatever they call them. So okay, so therefore the distinction between um, God and Lord. So we see the term, and we'll use it in the middle here. We'll put it right in the middle, Lord, Lord God. We see that all the time, and so I'm going to blow it up. Okay, not that big. Okay, and so that literally means um, the Yavelheim. Just want to go down. The Yavelheim, who is the great. Now the reason he's called great is because the sun is great. The sun up there in the sky is also great. We got the Great Father, and we have the great Zul, great Zul of Haim. And sometimes just to help out, I give you uh, apostrophe breaks to show the component words better. Same here. We could do that here as well. Yavul Haim. Okay. So Lord God, we see it like in the second chapter. With the first time we see it is in chapter 2 in Genesis. Verse 2, chapter 4 in Genesis. I think is when the first time we see Lord God, because they use two different source materials. They use the Northern Kingdom um, uh, Genesis story, and then also the Southern Kingdom, which were two different documents. One was called the Elohistic, or having, the term they want us to think was Elohim, which was hiding the original Zul of Haim. And so the Lord God, so whenever it's called the identifier, because the Great Spirit, the Great Father, wants to be identified, and he can only be identified through his Son, his only loved seed, and the Son represents that. It's the Garden of Adams, right? And Yeshua is, just to clarify, the first atom. Okay, the first atom. Let's bump that one up. Okay, the first atom. And so not only does he represent the Son, the biggest, but he represents the smallest. So there's a book you could get, I called "I Am Yahweh" by Zimmerly. "I Am Yahweh," written about 100 years ago, and the Father is using the Great Father, the Great Father, the Yahweh is using the identifier combination of Lord, what they call, they corrupted into Lord God, which originally is the Yahweh, who is the great Zulafhaim. So we'll underline just the second part, to show the distinction, so you're not confused. So God is right here. Yeah, and we'll bump that one down also. Who is the great Zulafhaim? Okay, so there's your breakdown. So what's going on is, so the Great Father is the Lord, and that also means symbolically, a Lord equals Lord equals everything going all right, Ninja? The
Yes.
great sunrise.
I was just gonna ask you, do you want to zoom back in? Do you want to bump it back up, or are you leaving it like that?
Well, yeah, I'm leaving it for a moment. I mean,
Okay. Just making
the
sure.
whole idea is yeah. So look, I just see them. I just filled up a page. I can't get over it. Yeah. I could not imagine um, that that this thing would end up so big. I better give myself a bonus line here. Oh, wrong way. Okay, let me just bump that down to an 8. Okay, for the moment. And okay, so this is the thing is, the beauty is that the answer is in the words, the Ace of Wars. But more than that, this is why reading the scripture is so important, because the more you're able to process in the stories, like, about the patriarchs, Abraham, which is really the sovereign, and then uh, you know uh, um, Isaac, Eshayak, and then Jacob, Yaakov, the seed of light. He's the seed of light, and Yeshua is also, of course, obviously, um, the seed of light, my only loved seed. And let's just add that there, the seed of light. You see, and so now I definitely got to make room for that last one here, because that's probably going to be the whole picture. Let me think here how I want to do this. I'll go to break it down to it too. See if I can get it down further. Oh, wrong way. I get it back? No. All right, we'll just delete it. How about that? Come on. Delete. There we go. Okay, so it's all there now. And so I want to go full screen, or what do I want to say? A whole page, so we can just look at the page for a minute and see what you got me into, Maria. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here we go. Get a little more. Okay. So what we see is this duality, and our whole creation is about a duality. Okay, what is bigger, what is smaller? Okay, so we got great father, and then we got the father's agent, the active agent, um, Yeshua, as the only loved seed. So that's he's the perfect maid. the only love seed. Where can we have perfect? Perfect creation, right? He's the perfect creation. We'll give a little color to that to highlight at the top. Okay, he is the seed of light. Okay, and so he's the atom, the sun atom. This way we can keep making distinctions by the color. I like to do that when I do the books. I use a little color comparison, and it helps to make things stand out. And again, the logo is the sun. Remember, it's a symbol, logo, but it means something. The true way. The true way is back to the light. So Yeshua is the light. Okay, so we can make him also. So he's made perfect. That's so what happened was that the Father made, and the great Father made. What did the great Father make? He made Yeshua. And so he is the perfect made. He is the perfect creation. And so everything then after him, because he is the first atom, then everything was after that was made by him, Yeshua, because it simply became a process of duplication. So he's the first made. Do I have first made here? I don't have the perfect first made. I'll say it here. The perfect first made creation, female by nature, and that's also known as Aisha. Aisha means woman. Not only does it mean royal eye, but royal woman, and so he's known originally as the Zul Love Hang, because the Great Father put the power of everything in him. Everything is the Zu, and they gave him the vision for everything, that he sees all things just like the Great Father. And then he was given the love that the Father has, and with the breath, with the Spirit, and it's called the breath for the many, or the breath of the many, or what's it called? The breath of lives, plural. It's been acknowledged that it's not breath of life. It's the breath of lives, because people can live if they receive his true breath. Not it's again the duality. We're breathing, but we're not breathing yet the true breath. The true breath is the great Spirit, the Holy Spirit, that transforms you into his higher nature. Okay? So he's the first atom, he's the active agent. So whenever you hear about these terminologies that they've changed into other characters, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Melchizedek, all of these characters, they are Yeshua. Okay, Gabriel is Gavrezul, and it means the giver of light. Michael is the one who is like Yah. Well, who is the one who is like the great Father? It's Yeshua. So Yeshua is Michael, Yeshua is Gabriel, Yeshua is Raphael, Yeshua was Melchizedek, the son of Noah, Shem, Asham, and who conquered the enemy and never had to pull out his sword. And he built the Giza pyramid just before the great flood, while his father Noah and his brothers are building the ark. He builds for 120 years the Gazar pyramid, and the Gazar, for gazing at the cosmos, because it represents the sun. The one who made the universe made the greatest pyramid of them all. Makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, really, come on. Just before the flood, as a monument. And so the great Father is observing. He's observing his son, the active agent, doing all the things he does as the Father for the great Father, uh, for his will. Okay, and so that's basically it in a nutshell, Maria. And I thank you so much for such a great question, because I think this is one of the greatest enigmas for people, is to comprehend the distinction between what is active in this universe, and what is the difference between the male versus the female, because the spirit, the reason men are bigger than women, and have bigger muscle mass and usually taller, is because the spirit is stronger. So the spirit is the masculine is more powerful, And then so the female creation therefore is weaker and smaller. Okay, and so these are, so when we look at nature, we can read these things, and it's called, the metaphysics. We're explaining things by the laws of nature, and so like sun, earth, and moon are simulating the atom with the proton, electron, and neutron. And you can't even see it under a microscope unless I guess you got the atomic microscope, but so anyway, there it is. Okay, and I'll go bigger now, and just get your eye full. What's going on here? Come on. Hey, come on. My wheel's not doing too good today. Got to get another mouse up. I think I'll go a little more. Okay, so I think that's at one more. Okay, so we'll just scroll down real slow. Okay, so the perfect first made create. I'll just read it through and see how it sounds. The perfect first made creation, female by nature, God Elohim Zulafim, Father by Spirit is Yeshua, the Son atom, Son Sonsun, logo. There's only one word for Son, but you see how they did it because the U is a corruption. Sun is Son. Same word. To have a sun is to have a star. That's why everybody in the East, they all wanted to have a son, because he received the inheritance. Shavor, correct for word. Yeshua is the first made. He is the word. He is the logo. He is the son. He is the spirit. He is all things. He is the universe. Not only did he create the universe for the great Father, but he is the universe. He is all things. The first atom, the active agent, the only loved seed, the seed of light, Lord God in the corruption, the Yahweh who is the great Zulafim. Lord equals the great sunrise. Before creation, the great Father, the great Spirit, the great mountain of endless fire, the Son, the Zan, the infinite, Lord Yahweh, Yahweh, the Yahweh. Okay, and the word belonged on them, like I just said right there. This is correct when I said the Yahweh. Okay, the Yahweh, the Yahweh, the tetragrammaton. Okay, so with that, I'm going to hit save, and why don't we take a break? Just to spell me on this, I didn't realize it was going to get so big, and so let's go take a break, Ninja, and then when we get back, we'll bring it on with Damien's question down there in Western Australia, and want to welcome all of our friends and listeners, and I see JD over there in the UK, and thank you, Maria, for a good question again. Shipping forecast, we got JD. He's beside himself here with 2 different channels. That's great. And so hope you're telling your friends, and you can see we really know how to draw a crowd with this deep information. It's like this is not put out anywhere like this, and people they want the short version, and we just can't give the short version. We've got to come up to that level. We have to climb that ladder to be able to see and read it for ourselves, because one part in our life we have to be able to see and read it for ourselves, because that's the enlightenment, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so glad to have you. Hope you are telling your friends, and we'll be right back with part 2 of the questions, and what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. Of course, go get them, your friends. Thank you.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will calm the storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? When you kiss your little baby, you kiss the face of God. Oh, Mary, did you know? Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day rule the nations? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? The sleeping child you're holding is the great
Okay, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Forbidden History Live, the series on Ask Dezert-Owl and the Original Thought Transliteration Project. And now I'm starting to lose my voice, so I better get this on. I don't think I'll be as long-winded on this one, and then we'll get to a pre-record, and then we can breathe easy. And so good to have Here's got the Salty Straw Man. We got Calvin Swag, and where did the other one go? Oh, there it is. Shipping forecast. That's all JD out there in the UK, and he puts on really great clips on the law or trust related issues, and people being approached by law enforcement and how to deal with those issues. So it's very informative, very relevant information for those who are out there in the dangerous waters of planet Earth, ladies and gentlemen, where sharks are roaming everywhere. So good to have you, JD. And so subscribe to all those channels, okay? And now, so we're on the next part. Let me see if I can bring up the Skype. Okay, got Skype. I'm juggling now. Okay, there we go. And we're not sharing at the moment. I'm going to look first at the question by Damien, and then we'll go from there. And so he says, "Hey, Desert, what's the gospel of the Nazarene? I think I might have it." Okay, so yeah, that'll be an easy one. Then we'll be going to our main presentation. But there's actually more than one gospel of the Nazarene, because I've got one that actually has the coronation of Yeshua after he comes out of the wilderness for 40 days. Um, he and I didn't see your response. They're rutted or rude. Okay, rude dog. Okay, O2. So I guess that might be Rancho uh, Chucamonga might not even exist, I guess. But if Rancho Chucamonga is around, I'd guess either Colombia or somewhere in some South American country, but it's definitely not U.S. So anyway, feel free to tell us where you're located. If not, that's fine. I think we've seen you before on here, so welcome. And anyway. Okay, back to Damien's question. What is the gospel of the Nazarene? So Nazarene is a corruption, by the way. It's correctly the Nazare. And so the Nazare means that a ray of light that came down from a star, came down from the sun. And so the first Nazare was Adam, because he was with the Father, with the Son, with Yeshua, um, the first atom, making all things on the earth. And while Yeshua made all things on the earth, uh, Adam named all things on the earth. The Adam, ADOM, not ADAM. That's a misspelling. It's ADOM. They always misspell the words because they want you stupid, and under their spell is their spelling, And yeah, so basically, there's about 3 gospels that are going by that name today, and one of them is from I just got it in, and it's another name for their uh, retranslating the Gospel of Kayla D, which went to England, and the one I just recently got this year, which is a major discovery and has the coronation of all things. There's one gospel that has the coronation of Yeshua as the king of Judah, not of Israel, because Israel is no more. Okay, in 724 BC, they were no more. So he's the king of Utah or Judah, and yeah, they had a coronation. That's in California. Okay, would have been my guess, because I know you've got a lot of Spanish names over there in California. Okay, very good. So you're a native of North America here. Good to have you. And so anyway, then there's one that I really love. It's called the Gospel of the Nazarene, and it's like 100 and oh, no, it's about just under 100 short chapters. They're short. I think they're called lections, or uh, which are short, short chapters, and they're just beautiful sayings of Yeshua. And these are all been, because the Roman Empire took over our scriptures, and then they said only these 27 little teeny weeny letters or gospels are you're allowed to read. You're not allowed to read anything else. Everybody rejects all the other materials. We had a library, And the other thing is that they've all translated them from early on, from the first century, when they found the sacred scriptures, they would rewrite them and throw away the originals. So they would corrupt them, hoping that the copies that would circulate would ultimately be corrupted copies, and the secret societies and the government and the priesthood would then get rid of any original copies. So they write, and they write out was right out the gate. And if you read, um, in the back of several of the books, I've got the letter of Kefe Peter to James. His name was Kefe, not Peter, but we have to go with it now. And he wrote to James, the brother of Yeshua, and he says, we've been giving away our letters and writings to people that when they come in and go out, and then the next thing I hear is that they've rewritten them, and they actually put words into my mouth that I have never said. And if they do this when I'm alive, what are they going to do when I'm dead? And so Cafe Peter alone admitted in that letter to James that he had a whole library of his own books, of his own letters that he wrote. Okay, so that might mean, because you figure if they live 10 years or 15 years more or 20 years, how many letters do you think they might have written? Maybe 100. And we don't have them anymore. They're gone. You see? And so, I mean, the people that buy into, well, there's only these 27, teeny weeny, the one who made the universe, he can't afford more than 27 little letters, and most of them by Paul, and, and a couple gospels, when there's actually, I've got right now a dozen gospels, and I put them in samples of them, including that coronation in, and maybe you want to pull it up, Ninja, it's the mistranslated and lost scriptures of the Bible. That's the one to get if you want to see samples of what they stole from us, ladies and gentlemen. And I have, through the Original Thought Transliteration Project, been restoring based on original thought, based on original form, based on the original alphabet without the corrupted letters, um, you know, which is then the proper lexicography, meaning the combination of letters coming together. And did you? I don't hear anything. So if you could just let me know you get it, Ninja, that'll help me out. Okay, while I'm doing a present. Oh, okay, that's what I need to know. All right. So, okay. So, all right. So she's looking right now, and I have it. You. Okay, let me pull it up on my desktop then. Okay, I'm sharing, so you can do that. Okay, so let me pull it up on my. I think I got it here. What is this? That's the Forbidden Lost Book of Moses. Okay, that's not it. What is this? The original gospel. Okay, just when I need it, right? Mistranslate. Here we go. Here we go on my desktop. Okay, just so people know what to look for. Okay, bump it up. Don't need that. And you're sharing my screen, I assume, right? You're sharing. All right. Okay, there it is. Are you there yet? All right. I'm not asking for that. Keep talking to me. So
Okay.
um, okay, we're there.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, so there's the book, ladies and gentlemen, and you can get that. See, they were not even called Christians. Christian is also a name given to us by the occultists. Okay, because we were known as the people of the way. Okay, the people of the way. And so anyway, revealing the tragic theft of the pure, okay, let me start at the top. The mistranslated and the lost scriptures of the Bible, restored, revealing the tragic theft of the pure tradition from the people of the way by Dezert-Owl. Okay, the non-spoken word publication. So get a copy of that, and you'll get up to speed on the conspiracy to deny us our sacred tradition. The whole objective of the occultists is to destroy our tradition. to rob us of what is rightfully ours, which is our entire fabric of our original tradition. Okay, so and then share it with a friend. Okay, because our world is going down. We're in a precarious time because they predicted in the book of Morals and Dogma by the Freemasons that in the Third World War they would destroy all Christianity. Okay, and they would use Islam to do it as their agent, you know, and so they just hate us to death, and that's okay because it's not our world, it's their world. And so they can get on their knees and beg mercy of the Great Father when they get to their moment of breathing their last breath, or when they get to the other side and they'll find out that they enjoyed being mother sons of darkness so much that they will get all the darkness they ever asked for, because they certainly can't go back to the light when they have sold out mankind and committed murder and mayhem and every form of theft and abuse of mankind that we've ever heard of. So that's what's been going on. Nothing new, but it's only being ramped up now to the final stage. Okay, that's what's coming, and it may be all played out by the end of this year. Certainly, all chaos will break out by the end of this year, and we'll see the full-blown communist state rushing in, and that then the main religion will not be Christianity, and you can guess what it may be. Okay, and then after they're done using their little pawns and their puppets in their little religious game, then they'll put them on the last rail car and bring them to the chopping block as well, because they have no place to go underground. They're not going underground. So therefore, once they're done with the sellouts, those who sold out mankind for a dime and for a big lie, prestige, false prestige, and a tin badge and a gun on their hip, then they will also be put on the chopping block, probably by some AI robot. You know what I mean? That because they don't need the goyim anymore, because they got robots that'll do their bidding for them. So that's where that's at, ladies and gentlemen. And now let's find out how big the lies really go. We can put that graphic up now, Ninja. The of George, the remaking of a president, the inventing of a president. Whisper in my ear, please, if you're got it. If you're engineering, could you? All right, thank you very much. Okay, I need communication. I can't do a radio program without a response. Of we're moving forward, or okay. Thank you. All right. So, so very good. And we're going to bring on, it's about a 1 hour presentation. We're going to do a song after we move from our opening clip here. We're going to go to a song. And so at the song, you can get a drink or use the restroom or call a friend, ladies and gentlemen, and tell them, hey, man, did you know that George Washington is really King George III? Well, we're going to find out. You want to see it? Of course, the replay will be there, so people can come later on and check it out. But we're just doing a review of my first official presentation. I already knew about it for over a decade, but I didn't have all the, wherewithal, all the graphics that I could put together to do it. And now I'm able to do it, ladies and gentlemen. So, okay, so get ready. And we're going to be going to where nobody else seems to be going. And I never could have imagined I've been here, but I couldn't miss it once I saw one key graphic of George Washington, King George III in his coronation presentation. Okay, so we're going, and Ninja, you want to give me the count when to we're going to pull up the turn on the program, and the
Okay.
graphic. Okay, hold on, I've got to think here. Oh, you're going to be sharing my screen.
Yeah,
Because I've got a
just
video.
gone to Skype now.
Okay, okay, good. So we got a video that's coming up right now. 5, 4. You with me? Right? 3. Yes.
Yes, I've got
2.
Skype now.
Okay,
So,
good deal. 1. Here we go. Enjoy the program, ladies and gentlemen. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and so yeah, there's a lot to say. Okay, so don't go away. We'll be right back. We're going to go for a ride down the rabbit hole, and you still have time to call a friend. Okay, so after all, you wanted to know, didn't you? All right, we'll see you in a bit. Thank you.
If woman can survive, they may find. In the year 3535, ain't gonna need to tell the truth, tell no lies. Everything you think to say is in the pill you took today. In the year 4545, ain't gonna need your teeth, won't need your eyes. You won't find a thing to chew. Nobody's gonna look at you. In the year 5555, your arms hanging limp at your side. Your legs got nothing to do. Some machine is doing that for you. In the year 6565, ain't gonna need no husband, won't need no wife. You'll pick your son, pick your daughter too. From the bottom of a long glass tube. In the year 7510, if God's coming, you'll make it by then. Maybe he'll look around himself and say, yes, it's time for the judgment day. In the year 8510, God's gonna shake his mighty head. He'll either say, I'm pleased where man has been, or tear it down and start again. Whoa. In the year 9595, I'm kinda wondering if man is gonna be alive. He's taking everything this whole earth can give, and he ain't put back nothing. Whoa. Now it's been 10,000 years. Man has cried a billion tears for what he never knew. Now man's reign is through, but through eternal night, the twinkling of starlight, so very far away. Maybe it's only yesterday. In the year 2525, if man is still alive, if woman can survive, they may find.
And welcome back to Forbidden History Live, the series on Ask Dezert-Owl and the Original Thought Transliteration Project, ladies and gentlemen. And the truth is stranger than fiction, right? And before we get back to the program, I just want you to know about a really great source for two important products. And one of them, well, the company is called ICU Immune, and they've got two products. One is the humic acid, fulvic acid with zeolite, and then they have another one that is the antiviral. And so these products were designed for the things that are coming at us today. And so check them out. Highly recommended. They're not my sponsor. They're just friends that I know. They have produced something that's very important, okay, for all of us. I'm taking the zeolite every day myself, okay? And zeolite pulls out those toxins. It's a little cage, a little volcanic overflow that got solid, and then they crushed the volcanic ash, and you get zeolite, and it's like a little microscopic round cage, and it captures the toxins, and then it pulls them out of your body, and that includes metals, they're toxins, and and what have you, okay, the things that's bad for you. So yeah, so check them out, all right, and tell them I sent you. And so here we are back at the OK Corral, and we're gonna bring it on. Okay, so let me open up the video again, and the slide that Ninja did such a good job with, and we'll take it one at a time. And and we can take calls if anybody wanted to call in right now. You're welcome to do that. We can I want to stay relatively on topic, somehow closely related to this if we do have anybody call in. Okay, so because we're talking about the grand illusion, and that they say that there's a war going on. Where I just saw a report the other day, just saw the headline, we're in the third month of the war. Third month of the war. There is no war. And it's so tragic, ladies and gentlemen, what they're doing to these beautiful lives that are destroyed, especially the innocent ones. They don't care what religion you are or anything like that. They're just wanting to grow like flowers and to be free, and so it's really sad. So when is a king not a king? When he is owned and controlled, as is Britain, by the Rothschilds. So let me, I got a cough, and then I'm gonna say something here. So they say the Rothschilds, that their name was that there were some little, this is the child's tale again, like Betsy Ross made the American flag. No, she didn't. Christopher Columbus discovered America. No, he didn't. And so they say that the Rothschilds were a family of this poor little Jewish guy, a trinket trader, and he had 4 sons, and that they got good at trading, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're controlling all of Europe, and that's because they don't want you looking at the Vatican, right? And they want you to think it's one little family of Jews and not the majority of the Jews with autonomy around the globe, and waging war on mankind. So Bauer, so the name that they say they used to have is Bauer, and Bauer is, you have to change the B to a V in the original, and it's Valwar. So the Rothschilds have taken, with all the Jews who were originally Assyrians, have taken a vow for perpetual war. That's the vow war. That's so they can remember, that's their way of, oh yeah, don't forget vow war. And so that's the reason, it's perpetual war, never ending war. That's why there's never been a time for peace on all of Earth, because they're engaged in crimes against you and I and our families, ladies and gentlemen. They are psychopaths. The judge sits on the bench. That's Latin for bank. The judge in the courtroom is sitting on the bank. He's keeping it in possession of the royals. They'll let you think you got a little, but they'll take it all back in the end, And so think I was going somewhere else with that, but so anyway, yeah, there it is. And the hairdo was what gave it away. And after that, now I've got enough of the substance to prove it to anybody else right here in sharing this with you. When you're dealing with secret societies, of course, that's the key element that in their shell game that they're operating. So let's continue here. He's wearing the gold. He's in the gold. He's doing good, feeling good. Got that leopard spots all over him as well. Is spotted with leprosy and dressed in gold for his coronation. Corona. There's your corona, right? Crown. And so what do we got here? We got a young, supposedly George Washington, but now that I pointed out his agency, let's look what he's doing. Oh, he's putting his hand, hiding it. You even saw that with Lincoln, right? When he was standing outside the tent and he's got his military officers standing around him. They're doing it because they're going to make sure Lincoln does his job. They're there as secret agents. If they're tucking the hand in their shirt, then they're agents of the of the Vatican and of that unseen hand. And so you got to look at the colors. And he's got the royal sash. The thing I failed to mention when I was, or notice when I was doing this, I never focused on the sash because it wasn't blue. But it doesn't matter that it's not blue. It's actually a violet. So it's ultraviolet. And you'll notice, like after Hillary Clinton lost the election to Trump, at that time, she and Bill, her pretend husband, Bill Clinton, come on the stage. And Bill Clinton's got a purple tie. Hillary Clinton is wearing all purple, and it's the ultraviolet light. So this sash is saying that he's the invisible king because he's wearing the royal sash, but the color means he's invisible. Do you see it? And I just saw that right here for the first time and was able to spell it out for you, ladies and gentlemen, to show you how deep the rabbit hole goes, and you don't automatically see everything all at once. But that sash is totally out of place. And so then, he's dressed in the blue because, it's hiding the red. The blue is the neutral color, and was the color of the Northern Army as well. That's why they had the blue. But and the enemy was the redcoats. And so he's got it underneath. He should have, in other words, if he weren't an actor, then, underneath it might be green. Or it might be tan, but red, come on, that's telling the story. It's all about the red. The red is symbolic of the blood as well. And what's that saying? He's got something in his pocket. I can't quite make that out, but that's been noticing it. Now I see it's got something of something. What, like the power of, it looks like power, P-O-W-E-R, maybe of, maybe we'll have to put a magnifier to that one and follow up with that. Okay, so continuing. See, we love that red, white, and blue, ladies and gentlemen, don't we? But I've pointed out many times over the years that, I always say that, let's see, the French flag is red, white, and blue. The Russian flag is red, white, and blue. The British flag is red, white, and blue. The Dutch flag, it either is or was red, white, and blue, and then because that's where the red, white, and blue with the Dutch Royal West India Trading Company was located, and the American flag, red, white, and blue, was flown on the high seas, merchandising people in slave trade, and so that's the American flag. It's a slavery flag, and people are pledging allegiance to it. And pledge means we give everything that we own to you. We give everything we own. That's the pledge. That's what pledge means. To hand over control, and that's what you do when you register your car, register your business, register your everything, right? And so that's a Regis Star. Regis Star is royal star, you see? And so there they are. They're your gods. He's the demigod, bow down to your master. He's up there in the clouds. He's feeling pretty good. He was wearing that gold. Now they're blowing horns, and the lady on the On the right hand, on the left side is got the fasci, the representing how they conquered the earth with the battle axe, with the berserker battle axe, and the black ebony rods surrounding it are all the political states organized together as one state, a one world circle. Okay, and so the shield down below. Remember, the colors are red, white, and blue, but the red represents the red shield, Rothschild, and so it's in the word. The word is dominant in the same shield we see on our interstate highway here in America. The interstate highway going interstate, making it go quick across the U.S. with the new shield of Rothschild, the red shield, the red cape, just like Superman. Superman had a red cape also, right? And when you look in the legal dictionary under the word capias, cape, because that was my tip off. I said, okay, I know cape could be the word capias, so I'll look it up. And I did, and there it was, the power to take, or that which takes. Okay, and of course the sword. So it doesn't look very friendly wielding that sword, like you're gonna slit somebody's throat. What about the olive branch? I thought you were supposed to be a peaceful state. But and there's a bird, a phoenix on her head as well. That's the 500-year cycle of the phoenix. So just really interesting to see. And yeah. Oh, and here let's stop this one because the funny part, ladies and gentlemen, is I've known about the rotunda up in the ceiling, and and then this in the basement. I've known about this for years, and then it was like once that question came up again through that Strange Days Indeed broadcast the other day, a week ago. And I wanted to answer the question. All I had to do was go grab all of these graphics and put them in a logical order and add a little commentary on the side, and then all of a sudden these other pieces came to the table. It's like, as I'm doing it, wait a minute, look at this. And I found something in a book, that I had in PDF form that I was putting up on payloads, and that book was relevant. Some of these old books I was stumbling on, and I was collecting. So look at him, He's a demigod. Demigod means part God. He's part God. Wow. Really? And he's saying he's number one. And he's got the toga wrapped around his arm and his lower waist, bearing his chest. But what's interesting, he's showing the serpent eyes, because the serpent eyes are what we are covering when we wear clothing. But the toga, if you read toga, this is why this is interesting, because I'm saying here he's giving an image of Baphomet, right? And the serpent and toga backwards, if you rearrange the letters, you get goat. And so what do we see next? Because that's in the word, right? Everything's in the word. The toga that he's got on, as if he's unclothed, just wearing a toga, is the goat. There it is, the reverse image. You see? The real image that is representing, one represents the other, right? So Washington is representing the goat. He's an actor. He's playing his part. And then what I had discovered in doing this, I was putting away cleaning my desktop, and I saw this book, and it was called the Mystic Mason, And I said, oh, well, let me check. And I checked it out real quick, went in there, and I saw this, And so basically what it is, as you can see, it's replicating the imagery of the Baphomet. It is the Baphomet structure. And so, so the Mystic Mason, the inner Baphomet. And so we see at the top how, any of you that have been listening long enough know that I keep saying that it's India. And here I just discovered this past week in the process of putting this collection together. Again, this divine wind that the Heavenly Father is always helping out the project, because he wants everyone to know how they're being deceived and lied to. He's not happy that, the whole world has been deceived, And so that's, again, why he gives somebody like me a download, like he has, because it's not because I was worthy, but it's because he wants people to know the truth, that that they're being run by an ancient culture. The ancient Brahmin come out of India, and the most ancient scriptures that we have as a collection, the oldest collection before the flood, are the Vedas. Veda is a spin on the word, like you see it in the Latin vita, which is vitamin vita for life. So the Vedas mean, the book of life, and actually in the collection that I have in the appendix in the back of the Real Da Vinci Code etymological dictionary that I did, I show the 3 volumes of the Veda, and on each cover they got the swastika because it's the symbol of light. Just like you see the Veda coming out of an image of the sun, right? Because where does life come from? It comes from the sun. And so it's saying, the life of the sun. That's the logo, right? And so what's right below that, you see in the circle, is India, right? And so really all roads really lead to India. And when you watch the movies where they're giving their subliminal clues, like the movie called Knowing, or The Road, or they all escape me, the Matrix movies, and all those different movies that they have, Constantine, a big one, Constantine, and you always have the Hindu element. And the movie Gladiator as well, the original version from the 1950s in particular, you'll see the unseen hand. There, they show the unseen hand, Hitler was showing the unseen hand. When they all raised their arm, they're showing the unseen hand because they're working for that unseen hand in a big mission, going to conquer all of Europe, other than Switzerland, of course. We wouldn't want to mess with our boss. But, they conquer, what nerve, right? I mean, who in the right mind would, what nation would want to go blow everybody else up, right? And enslave them and starve them to death and destroy, burn down all the Protestant churches, Well, it's the unseen hand, because they got to keep control of the ball. And so that's why throughout history they burn libraries, from India to Alexandria to the Washington, D.C. library, in the War of 1812, when the bankers were trying to regain control, because there were good people here in America who were not a part of the clique. And so they're trying to throw this enemy faction out, not knowing how the game is played. And then you get the books, the Federalist Papers and the Anti-Federalist Papers, and you got this battle going on because we had legitimate people, regular people, thinking we're free, when they didn't know that behind it is the bankers who are actually controlling and running the show, and the unseen hand, right? And so if you look at the bottom of that graphic, what do you see? You see Christianity right about where the anal, the rectum of the Baphomet would be. You see Christianity of Christ, right where what I'm saying? Right where it would be. And so they put it right there at where you have a bowel movement, and then at the very bottom, the feet of the Baphomet are wrapped around the ball, Christianity of Constantine. So they moved away from the Christianity of Christ in that upper sphere, and that the very bottom sphere, it says the Christianity of Constantine. Well, Constantine is when they morphed the Roman Empire into a double state, and you got Constantine in Constantinople, Turkey, where those young Turks, those Ashkenazi Jews came from as well. And the first mafia we had were called the Young Turks in the 1800s in America. And so Constantine said he had a vision there in about 318 or 320 in that general area, AD. Oh, after death. Well, what about after his resurrection? Maybe it should be AR for power, after resurrection. I like that one. And so what they were going to do is they were going to take control of the baby. They were going to take control of the so-called Christianity, and then morph it from a pacifist, peaceful, non-aggressive state into a militaristic state. So Constantine was a general, he was a warrior, and he said he had a vision in the sky of the Cairo, the X with the P, called the Cairo, and so he said this will be our symbol throughout all time, and he adopts Christianity. It's funny, he actually didn't get baptized till he was on his deathbed. I guess then he thought maybe it would be worth the investment to do it, you know. But all they did, and as a result of that, making Christianity to a militaristic state, the antithesis, the anti state to the original state. Then they went after the Middle Eastern Christians, and they took all of their copies of the Diatessaron, which were the four Gospels blended together, so that because paper was short back then, and so they blended the four Gospels together in one volume, and they got rid of all of them because they were in the original Aramaic script. Original Aramaic script you see right here. These capital letters, these capital letter words are all in the original Aramaic script, and they took it all the way in modern time, and it's right in our face, and we don't know it, we don't get it, because they changed the script from this particular capital letter script to what's called a demotic script, meaning it looks like Arabic, right? It looks like pen scratchings on a paper, straight lines and dots, but the particular demotic for the Aramaic they made into called El Strangulo. So they're having fun with us again, because it means they strangled you. They strangled those people in the East, gave a new script, took away the symbols of the hieratic capital letter, what is also known as Phoenician alphabet. So you see there's a lot going on here. And on the very bottom right, it says church. You see right there, it says church militant, right? The bottom P for the sphere, because the sphere is being identified. The bottom sphere is P, or excuse me, letter B as in boy, and then the P is up above. Oh, and they're putting philosophy, so they're going to lace Christianity with a little bit of philosophy as well, mix a little of this, a little of that. That's what they do at the pulpit all the time in these modern day, Christian churches, right? It's all socialism, and but look what that bottom B is defined as: church militant, proselytism. We're gonna make you a good Christian, or we're gonna kill you. Which would you like? Okay, then we proselytized you. Good to have you. Here's a sword, by the way. We'll put the sword, and sword is synonymous with the word, as you can see. It's but it is a corruption. It's not the original Shavor. Shavor is the word for sword. The original word Shavor is sword, and it means savior. Also, savior, Shavor is in there, and these are the things they stole from us. So look at that. At the very bottom, it says the sex, SECTX of Christendom. So they sectioned it. Sex means sectioning, and so that's what they did. So that's what a revelation. And look at this. They came out. They did this Indo-American Book Company, 1911, 1911. So that's when they bring out this chart to their people as a warning. Warning, warning, bing, bing, bing. Pay attention. Don't look at the left hand, look at the right hand for the moment, okay? Because we're telling you, Indo-American, India, okay? I got maps, pictures of maps that show America was called, New India prior to the pretend discovery of Constantine, a new version of the same continent. But that explains why they called the traditional native peoples of America Indians, right? Because they were slaves of India. They were the chattel property of the East India, West India Trading Company, Dutch Royal, Jesuit, Jew culture. Okay? It's a mouthful, isn't it? I'm telling you, it's a lot to take in. But that's what a lifetime of study will do, ladies and gentlemen. It will help you to piece together the mystery of the puzzle, but then with the Spirit, the anointing of truth, the Spirit of the Great Father leading and guiding into all truth. The anointing is truth. You've seen that picture of the mountain I've climbed, right? I have that on the Strange Days Indeed. And that's what I did when I was 20 years old. I climbed that mountain wanting to get close to the Great Spirit, because I saw my own struggle, in this world. Hang on a minute. And so, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's a thick wick to burn, but we have to know these things, because we've been programmed. We need to be deprogrammed. So, kings of England, ever since King James I, this was a big, thing for me, because it was Robert Sefer. Robert Seffer, who does a wonderful presentation on YouTube, and he's an anthropologist. He's written several books, and he was the one who came out with the fact that King James was the founder of International Freemasonry. I didn't know that, and when I knew that little key, that little piece, it was like bingo. I get it. All right. So the kings of England, are the heads of International Freemasonry, right? And so all the way down to modern time, right? Who's the last one we see as the head of Freemasonry? Was Prince Philip. Why didn't they ever refer to him as King Philip? Think about it, right? Of course, there's two reasons. One, the Queen is the representative of the Mother Church, of the occultic. So the Queen is getting prominent because they're following a matriarchy and not a patriarchy. But at the same time, by not calling him king, nobody will get the picture that, wait a minute, okay, Prince Philip, he said he wanted to come back as a virus. I guess he did, right? Because he died just at the time, or he maybe went to Switzerland, just at the time, right? And all this stuff came down in 2020 in January, February, March, right? And we couldn't visit our friends anymore, couldn't had to cover ourselves, you know what I mean? And so yeah, so the kings of England, ever since King James I, who gave us, the King James Bible, but wait a minute, if he's a Mason, he founded the 33-degree Scottish Rite Freemasonry. That means Masonic means mother, son of darkness. And so how can people say that the King James Version is the most important when he basically plagiarized William Tyndale, because it's 90% Tyndale and with a bunch of different codes, Jewish codes in there that they put in, right? How come they don't want to recognize Tyndale and they want to recognize King James, the mother, son of darkness? Scottish Rite founder. And the English king as the head has always been the most worshipful Grand Master of all international Freemasonry. You see? So let's just say for a minute, let's just do a what if. What if George Washington, really wasn't King George III, right? But I'm not sure what picture is coming up next. So let me fast. There we go. Okay, yeah, here we go. Good. Right. So let's just say for a moment that George Washington wasn't King George III, right? And he was just a regular guy and doing extraordinary things. Well, if he's a Freemason, then he doesn't own his allegiance to the American people nor to America. And if he's a Mason, that he's a good Mason, he's a good liar, and he's a good deceiver. And if he were just a regular guy, when he becomes a Mason, he then owes his allegiance to the higher authority of international Freemasonry, which makes him a foreign agent, which is another reason that the founders around 1812, which coincided with the War of 1812, they created the 13th Amendment to the 10 Articles of the Bill of Rights, and the 13th Amendment was, gee, I got it on my wall here. I should pull it down. Well, it was regarding titles of nobility. Titles of nobility, and let me pull it down for the record, because see, people forgot about this stuff. This is what happens when the other ones get old and they pass away. Then people forget, and they never remember. They're counting on it. That people will just expire, and then good for them. And look at that. I got a picture back there. Hang on, I pulled the plaque off my wall, and I'm taking the catalog out. I got my Forbidden History, my last copy of the Forbidden History catalog here, and I'm gonna read it, because we got to get it on record, and people need to hear things they've not heard before. And so I produced the Forbidden History catalog back in 1997, and in the back I've got the what's called the missing 13th Amendment, and I know it's back here. Come on. Okay, here we go. Here we go, page 17. just had a light go out. All right. Anyway, got another one behind me here. That'll work. Okay. So here's how it reads, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. And the reason I'll give why they did this, of course. So is this, and it was ratified, by the way. They got a few. They control the post offices, so they actually were able to intercept several of the ratifications, but enough came through to make it official. And then after the Civil War is when they pulled it out. They had to do the reconfiguration. They gave us the 14th Amendment at the same time, which had two subclauses. That never happened before. But anyway, here's the missing 13th Amendment. 13th Constitutional Amendment, titles of nobility or esquire. That would include corporations, by the way. Think of that. Think of secret societies. Think of blood oaths, foreign allegiance. Okay, all of those things are built within this, okay? If any citizen of the United States, and remember, this was written by the good guys because they saw what was going on to some degree and were trying to stop it, and this was the key to stopping the treason in America. If any citizen of the United States shall accept, claim, receive, or retain any title of nobility, well, that would include the Masonic degrees right there, a title of nobility or honor. In other words, title of nobility would be like, you know how a lot of the Americans go over to England and they get knighted and they become Sir, Sir Charles Burton, or, Sir, all these different people that have gone over there, right? Or shall without, okay, so let's try this again. So if any citizen of the United States, and by the way, United has a small u because it's the states of America. The word is States of America, and they changed that to United States of America. Another switch out. If any citizen of the United States shall accept, claim, receive, or retain any title of nobility or honor, or shall without the consent of Congress accept and retain any present, that means gift, pension, payoff, office, or emolument, more gifts, of any kind whatsoever, from any emperor, king, that's a key word there, four-letter word, king, prince, Prince Philip, prince, or foreign power, such person shall cease to be a citizen of the United States and will be incapable of holding any office of trust or profit under them or either of them. Ratified in the second session, 11th Congress, ratified 1819. So it took them a few years, but they did it. And so maybe another reason for that Civil War, ladies and gentlemen, not sure. But yeah, so there you go. It's on record. And so it's been a pretty nasty battle all the way through. And this is why they have to keep burning libraries and keep, because these books were found by who was it? These books were first found in Maine, and then ultimately they were found in Colorado, talking about in the basement of the libraries, or some, back room. And so ultimately the modern patriots that I was running into, were discovering them. Even Stephen Ames Jr., my friend, as well, who they took down, he had discovered the missing 13th Amendment on his own. And, and so the books were still out there. They couldn't get rid of all the books because they were everywhere. They published them in mass, to make sure. And so this is what happened. So you see that basically the Freemasons, and they even killed Captain Morgan because he was trying to expose the Freemasons, because he was one. Then he found out what they were about, and then they drowned him in the Great Lakes. So it's really a shell game. And so if you don't have enough information, if you don't know about proper procedure or original history, or the political science, or the all the things that you got to know, ladies and gentlemen, it's easy to be on the sideline and not knowing who's playing. Well, by the way, what team is playing? We got the blue team, we got the red team. Which one is winning? Who's right? Who's wrong? I don't know anything. I'm just here on the sideline. It's look kind of interesting. I enjoy watching the game, but I don't know anything about it. No, I don't know. Don't ask me. But it is important. We were supposed to be sophisticated. They want us dumb as Bart Simpson. But we have a mind and a capability within our own reasoning and process. But we need information. If we're denied access to certain information, ladies and gentlemen, then we would be dumb as a cluck. And so yeah, so there's so much going on, and this photo right here with George in knickers with all black and a skirt, a woman's dress, and then that classic, but it's not a square. You see that Masonic compass and square is not on a square sheepskin. It's on something totally unique. Makes him look superior, does it not? Because it's not typical to all the others. Oh, and look at the chevron. Remember when I showed you the dollar bill? You saw the dollar bill and the chevron was pointing up, and underneath was the key, and then above where the balance is on the dollar bill, the treasury seal, and it said, reading from bottom up because the chevron was pointing up, said the key to offset balance. Look at here. The chevron is pointing down to the solar image. It's saying he's the sun. He's got the power of the sun. He's got the power of creation. That's what that is saying. Okay, I just noticed that again, doing the live presentation and talking about it a little bit more, you start to see things more while you're looking at it. Okay, so the blue sashes are worn by the royal families, and that stood out. I mean, the black already had got my attention 10 years ago when I saw those pictures, but now the blue sash, and we're putting this graphics together. And I said, wait a minute, blue sash coming. And so I researched the blue sash, and what it said, the blue sashes are worn by the royal family, symbolizing the blue blood of an Aryan culture. Men who wear the black dresses, though, are Luciferian priests, and that includes the judge, that includes the Catholic priests, and then of course it would have included the doctors. But if they wore black, you'd be questioning them, right? So they had to wear white, but the doctors would also technically be working in black clothing. But that's your white and black, right? The squares on the page, on the floor. Okay, so let's continue on here. Are we having fun yet? Ninja, you having fun?
Yes, I have a question.
Thank you.
All right.
This is fascinating.
All right, very good. And she's Lo's being an insider here.
Yes.
And, yeah. She's at her eyeful.
Sorry,
okay, so basically, this is my quote because Confucius had a quote, and it took me a long time to like I was scratching my head. It was like an incomplete thought, because Confucius, the quote as it's being produced says, he said, signs and symbols rule the world. And, and I saw that for like, a couple decades. And then finally I said, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Signs and symbols don't rule the world. Signs and symbols tell you who is ruling the world. And you see, that's what we're doing here, right? We're reading all the signs and symbols, and they're shouting. They are shouting at us. And so I had to perfect Confucius. I bet you anything that's what Confucius probably originally said, and they took that part of it out because that would be telling too much truth, right? So thank you, Confucius, for the key. We got the key to that, and it's all about the keys. You saw those Vatican keys, right? And we're going to be talking about that in a minute here when we get there, because that's another part that took a long time to get the what these symbols were really telling us, right? So this is regarding the picture that's coming up next. So standing on the royal red carpet, that's where you're going to see the King George III. He's royal, so he's going to be standing on red carpet. If he's royal, standing on red carpet, wearing black, of the Jesuit Jew priest hood. The colors of the Jesuit Jew priest. The flag is a Jesuit slavery flag, and the colors, red, white, and blue, are the colors of the elite. You thought they were your colors, ladies and gentlemen, right? But then remember what I said. The French flag is red, white, and blue. The Russian flag is red, white, and blue. The British flag is red, white, and blue. The Dutch flag is still, or was at least, the red, white, and blue, because these things change over time for various reasons, because people are getting the pictures. And and then the children that we're going to see on this graphic represent the prey. They prey on the little ones, because the best way to get control, that's what they did to all of us, right? They got, as soon as we got out of the hospital, then first thing, we're being fed all of their food, we're being given all their toys, we're given all their programming on television, their cartoons. How about those violent cartoons? Remember the cartoons, how violent they all were? Violence in cartoons. And then the cartoon character just gets back up. He got killed, but yet he's a cartoon character, so he gets back up. Nobody got hurt. Favorite was the Coyote and the Roadrunner. Coyote and Roadrunner, and he's always getting blown up, but he always comes back for more. Wow, talk about multiple lives. But it's an indoctrination thing. That you think it's okay to hurt. We do stupid stuff, and we hurt others when we're little sometimes because we saw that stuff. And but why not? Like I used to, when I was homeschooling, I found in England a beautiful kind of like a cartoon, but they were like animations. They were animated puppets, so to speak, and they were called the Wind in the Willows. Ninja, did you ever grow up looking at Wind in the Willows?
Yes, I remember Wind in the Willows when I was very, very little, and I remember I loved it, but I can barely remember.
Are they listening?
It now.
Are they listening in?
Yes.
Are they hearing this? Oh, good. Okay. You should say I'm unmuted. That way I don't have to keep asking you all the time.
Okay.
But yeah, Wind in the Willows, right? And they had the badger, and
yes, it's all coming
and
back
all these
now. Yes, I loved it.
Mole. There was the mole who was blind; he couldn't see. And they all go sit down, have their cup of tea, and then those badgers were always creating trouble, right?
Yeah, and there was
Badgers
books
wrote
as well. It it originated with a book, probably.
Oh, right. That's right. Probably did. So anyway, so and then I always thought, why did they ever take this classic collection of Aesop's fables, and make an entire series of Aesop's fables, and where it teaches logic, teaches allegory, and symbolism and all, like the rabbit and the hare, how the hare who keeps on going slow and steady, he's the one who wins the race. The rabbit got stupid and fell asleep and lost the race, and so those are the things.
The turtle and the hare.
What did I say?
The rabbit and the hare.
Oh, the rabbit. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's what'll happen to you when you're on a roll. Okay, thank you, Sister Ninja. Appreciate that. And so let's go on further here. So let's go to that graphic, and still waiting for that caller. I guess they're never. People are afraid that Desert's gonna make them look bad or feel bad or something. I don't know what it is. Nobody talks anymore. We got all these communicators, and nobody talks, and that's okay. I got a great presentation going on here, and I've waited a long time to do this. I didn't even expect to do it. Actually, it was just because I had pegged it, squarely, 10 years ago, and then somebody was confused, thinking like, what did he just say? And now I got to prove it, right? Because I'm going out there in a bigger production, and okay, so we see there the Jesuit priest, and we the head of International Freemasonry, and everyone's observed. He's on the third step, the 3 steps. So he's the higher degree. The 3 steps would represent the Blue Lodge also. So he's representing the 33 degree Freemasonry, and the Blue Lodge also, which goes back to Babylon, by the way, goes all the way back to Babylon. And then we found it in Jerusalem at the time when they killed our Redeemer, Yeshua, or Redeemer, not Deemer, Teamer. Brought the team back, those who wanted to go. And so you see the red, white, and blue. 1 star in the circle. You see, where do we ever see the American flag? We've seen the circle stars, right? But we never saw it with the star in the middle. So who do you think is the star in the middle? Ninja, you want to guess? Who is the star in this presentation?
The star in this presentation is George Washington.
Thank you very much. King George, correctly, right?
Okay, we'll
King
go with
George,
that.
King George III, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you see, so they're telling you again, if you can read the symbol, and they're laying the cornerstone, and they call the scriptures. They don't call them scriptures in their lodge. You know what they call them? They call our scriptures the furniture. They got the Bible, which is Babel too, because they're really the shofar, meaning knowledge from afar. But we'll call it, the book. We'll call it the book on the table. They got the Quran on the table, and then they got the Tanakh, the Old Testament, on the table, and they call the sacred scriptures furniture. Well, furniture doesn't sound too sacred to me, you know. And so here's this fancy little clique. You see everybody in the background out there. Well, they got aprons on too. I see now. I'm noticing it for the first time. But the general population, because it's a small group, it's an insider group, But even in the insider group, the lower degrees are on the outside. And as it says in the protocols of the learned elders of Zion that were found in Bavaria, because one of the agents got hit by lightning, fell off his horse, and they searched his body and found the protocols that were being delivered to the French Jews who were about to overthrow the royal kings in France with the French Revolution, which is the Jewish communism. And back there, they actually called each other comrade. When you watched like the Tale of Two Cities, the classic movie, The Tale of Two Cities in the French Revolution, they call each other citizen, but no, the word they really used was comrade. And actually, it goes even in Jerusalem, they were using a similar word with the same idea, the same motif, comrade, because this is how they did it, So it goes way back. Nothing new under the sun, as they say, right? And so the little boys and girl, the boy and girl, and boy wearing the blue, girl wearing the pink orange sash, they represent their prey that they prey upon to initiate, like an Eastern Star. They do terrible things. So with some of these people, destroy their lives forever. And then on the red carpet, because the royal represents blood, well, the flowers that she's putting down represent the flow of war, because the word flower is not the original word for the what we call flowers today, those soft, beautiful smelling, very gentle petal flowers. But the flower is literally two words, flow, war, the flow of war. So it's showing that he will continue the operation, what Washington, D.C. became, the warfaring state, one of the three city-states of the threefold cord, the city of London being the commerce, and city of Vatican being the religion, and the city of Washington being the military. And so the flowers, if you read words and symbols, then you know that it means that she's laying this on the steps. They're on the steps of waging war on this platform against mankind. And so that's how you read it, ladies and gentlemen. What can I tell you? I'm just reading the symbols. I didn't create these pictures. I'm just interpreting them,
Desert,
And yes,
can I ask a question?
absolutely. And you're turned on?
Yes.
All right.
Um,
All right. You have to give me a number code or something. That way I don't.
Okay, during
right.
Skype screen share, I always open the mic in the OBS so that I can be heard and I'm not switching between screens. So just assume that I'm unmuted
All right.
everywhere.
All right. Well,
okay.
yeah. Well, if it's a short yes or no, or you're just engineering, that's fine. But if you're doing a statement, I will assume from now on you are open, Mike. Okay? Because I want we don't want to leave people out. So go ahead, try it again. Take two.
Okay. Looking at that picture didn't come to me before when we were working on these graphics as well. Spending the last few days looking at these pictures with the red and blue. I saw somewhere on the internet, read somewhere a few years back, the history of red and blue in regards to blue representing a boy and red or pink representing a girl, and how parents do that when their child is born, like with the little ones. And the history of that, there was a switch there. Red used to be for a boy and blue used to be for a girl. And I think that is more correct, because looking at the symbolism of that, red representing the sun, and the sun is a symbol of the father, and the blue representing the female, the mother, the moon. Is that correct? Does that make sense?
I'm not convinced. Okay, but I, in other words, what I was thinking, when you're saying it, that wrapped in everything is both male and female, and so anything is possibly one or the other, depending upon how you look at it. When I talk about sun and moon, right?
Yes.
Sometimes I refer to it as masculine, sometimes feminine.
Yes.
And the same with the moon. The moon represents the occult, but the moon also represents Yeshua. Why? Because there's a duality there, right? Because it's the softer, gentler light. We can look at the moon and go, beautiful,
Okay.
right? But if you look at the sun, you can't look at the sun, right? Because it's so powerful. So
Yes.
the sun in that idea represents then the Great Spirit. It represents the Great Father, and therefore the moon is representing the lesser light, which is Yeshua, that we can relate to, that we can look at, and not get destroyed immediately because of the great power that he has. Go ahead.
Okay. Well,
Right.
thank you. Yes, thank you for that, because I wondered about that, and I'm
Right.
glad it popped back to the front of my mind so that I could
Oh,
ask.
right.
Yeah.
Very good. And we see a guy wearing a wig and a black robe again, putting on pretend hairpiece. Hair represents knowledge and wisdom in the original form, and it's kind of funny that they put those wigs on. So I don't know for sure what. Wig backwards. If the W is a V, it creates the word. Well, it's close to the word give and fig. So anyway, rather interesting. More to think about. So let's move on here. Thank you, Ninja. I appreciate that. And let's see where we're going to take us now. And it's amazing. They talk about fraternity and brotherhood and all this stuff, but yeah, what kind of a brotherhood is it where you'll slit somebody's throat, because they disagree with you? And anybody can come out. That's the good news. And you just send them your letter of demit, and that you're following the real light, the true light of Yeshua. That's all you have to do. And they won't like you very much, but they have to honor the truth. That we all have a right to think for ourselves and be free thinkers, and to live in peace with one another. But they wage war on mankind. They hate. Their religious book is the Babylonian Talmud, and so their book teaches that it's okay to rape little boys and girls at age 3, and that's how the mind control works. They do it generationally, from generation to generation, and that's how they do the mind control, because it begins when they're little, when they're helpless, and they take control of that helpless little life. Okay, so let's read about the dollar bill. Oh, the phony dollar bill. That reminds me of Bill Clinton. He had a $3 bill also. So on the top right, it starts out the Treasury shield, reads from bottom up, and it says key to offset balance. So we got that one clear. And on the Jewish fiat currency, George is number 1. That's right. It's rather interesting that because he's in the royal family, that actually makes him an Ashkenazi, Khazar, Aryan Jew. And that went for the royal family back in World War II. That's why they put Hess in prison when he parachuted in or crash landed in Britain, thinking he was going to take down the Nazi regime, and then he gets thrown in prison, and he kept there for 40 years, so nobody will talk to him because he knows the secrets and the truth, and that German means Jew, right? And so you got the, and mind you, they never mentioned the Holocaust until the 1950s. Never mentioned the Holocaust, so they had to invent that one later on to cover their victimization of the poor Jew victims. That they're the victims of everybody. Everybody's always picking on them. While they print all the money and control everything on the planet, and kind of funny when you think about it, isn't it? So anyway, so the Jewish fiat currency, George #1, and on the back it says, "In God we trust," but we know if you add the royal, because the L is a royal vowel, it's a secret vowel. That's why it's called the vowel L. They took a vow to the L, the symbol of the obelisk, the symbol of light, the symbol of movement through time, which is what they do. And so it is in gold that they trust. They don't want the funny paper, the fiat currency. They want the gold. And when they took over again, as they do switch outs and reformations, creating new fronts in 1933, when the officially the Federal Reserve took over, and the court system changed from common law to Roman civil law, and the Roman civil handbook on Roman civil law, which was the judge's handbook. I had a copy of it. It said in there the first thing you need if you want to create a security is a hostage. And so you became the hostage. The security is the birth certificate. You become the hostage. You're the slave, and you're going to go and do what they tell you to do, or they're going to take everything from you, like we see with the IRS, which is an agency of the Vatican Federal Reserve. So note that they are private institutions. They are not claiming to be the Washington, D.C. government, and D.C. government is a puppet show. And this is the real show, ladies and gentlemen, the real show, the money, and the Ashkenazis that are running all things. So in gold, they trust. They robbed the trust. They robbed the gold when they declared a bank holiday, and they outlawed the owning of precious gold and said, you turn in your gold, you go to prison for 20 years. Well, gee, gold is private property. So they deceived everyone because everybody's stupid, and only the people that were smart held onto their gold, and everybody else gave it all away for nothing, for paper, fiat currency. Masonic banking seal on the left shows two pyramids because the upper pyramid is not attached to the lower pyramid. So the upper pyramid, they say they got the power of the sun. That's the all-seeing eye. It's not representing the Great Spirit on here, because the Great Spirit, our Great Father, of course, is an all-seeing eye as well. But you go into the Vatican in the rotunda under the dome, and you'll see all those little eye slots. They got all these eyes looking down, and the word vicar, it goes back to the word watcher, which is in the Indo-Germanic or Indo-Aryan, excuse me. I don't use Germanic anymore. Indo-Aryan. It's the Vekoresh. In the original Aryan, it's Vekoresh, the watchers. So there's where the eye goes from the dollar to the ceiling of the Vatican. Okay, and so you got the right seal is the Jewish Luciferian moon, and it's got the Zionist star in there, yin-yang, meaning that they occulted, because it should represent light. The six-pointed star should represent light. All creation comes out of it. The V comes out of it. But because it's on the left, they hid it within the occult Luciferian culture. Okay, and so in the olive branch and the arrows in the talons are indicating we're offering you peace, but we're going to give you war, or we're going to make peace with war. Ordo. How's that go? Order out of chaos, right? Ordo. I can't remember. Too much to remember, ladies and gentlemen. There's so much to remember in this stuff, and I don't want to remember it. I want to take the blue pill. Oh, that blue pill will help you to forget. All right. Let's see where we're going here. Go to the next page. And yeah, this is a rather interesting presentation. I don't think anybody's pulled one together quite like this before, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope the pictures are making things a lot more clear as to, they never taught you what the money is. It's not money, actually. And we got the all-time classic. Actually, let me just show you real quick before we go further on here, that on archive, and I'll just, for the listener benefit, if we go to archive, okay, we got here Mind Control in America by Stephen. Have to hear it once. If you've not heard it before, you got to hear it. And then Wake Up America, exposing the deception of modern money. Okay, so there's where you can find out the real nature of money. And Stephen did the 2 all-time classics. I'm so honored to be his longtime friend over 20 years. When I was listening to it in an 18-wheeler going cross country, I didn't even know Stephen at the time. I'm thinking, man, who made this? This guy's a genius. And so, what am I doing? I'm on the wrong thing here. Oh, there we go. Okay, gotta go back to the other picture. Where am I? I'm totally. There I am. All right, here I am. Okay. You don't do this every day. You get a little confused. So Stephen, he defines the true nature of money. And so we see here then what they do is they, the official city states that are waging war on mankind mentally, financially, and physically, all of these things together. So, it's quite a deal. And that pyramid, that particular pyramid, it's not a Giza pyramid. It doesn't represent any of the pyramids in Egypt. It does represent them, but it's not the style, was what I mean, because it's too steep, right? And so this pyramid is actually found in Washington, or in Rome. It's actually it's a monument pointing back to Meitzar, Egypt, pointing back to when that was the front office back then, before the flood. Then they were ruling the world, pyramid civilizations around the world, Central and South America, North America, and also in the other parts of the world. And so this is a reminder of the ancient past, but it's very steep, and so it's just a model of the ancient pyramids. Okay, so continuing on here, and of course, look at the red. Come on, right? There's your red. There's your blood on mankind, your spilled blood. That's what it represents, and that's where it is right there. Also see it on Santa Claus, because Saint Nick means secret. Santa is feminine, so it's the hidden woman, Santa Claus. That's why he also has the long hair with the beard, representing male, female. And a whole lot more can be said about all that. There's the 3 stars in Washington, D.C., so representing the 3 city-states, okay? And so Rothschild, he said, I care not what puppet is placed upon the throne of England to rule the empire on which the sun never sets. And they never, conquered the world. It never happened with England. It was the Dutch royal enterprise that did it. And I'll explain that in a second here. But okay, so I don't care who gets on the throne. The man who controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire, and I control the British money supply. So the Dutch royal Jesuits. I saw a documentary one day. They're telling a lot of truth in these documentaries. You got to be able to sift through the lies and the truth. But the Dutch Navy had 2,500 ships run by the Jesuit Dutch Royal British East India, West India trading companies. Okay, and so they're the ones who founded New York, the Dutch. Then somehow magically, then the British take over. Well, wait a minute, but the British only had 150 ships. Oh, I see. So Britain must be a puppet state. Of course, Britain is the puppet state of the Vatican. And so they're a corporation, just like when I read the titles of nobility, the way corporations work, they're shills, they're shells, and they're used to meet an end. So the Dutch had 2,500 ships. Britain only had 150. How could they have conquered the world with 150 ships when the Dutch had 2,500? You see? So the Dutch are the ones setting up the chess pieces on the board, and then the British come over and pretend that they take them over. You see? And so it's not, so Britain is not even ahead. Britain is a puppet, just like King George III is a puppet. Just like, therefore, now as president, managing the corporation and the slave plantation in the Americas, George Washington is the puppet. They're all puppets, but they look pretty good, don't they? I mean, they make them look pretty good. George Washington in his coronation with gold, wearing the gold, and then he's got the little loincloth on, with all the lapels and all the colors and all the symbols, and then to the regular people looking like demigods, right? Demigods. I'm a god, most worshipful, the head of each community. They call the Grand Poobah the most worshipful master. What? Oh, I mean, in other words, there's nobody above them then, right? If they're the most worshipful, the most means maximum, everything, the most worshipful, then they worship the demigod at the head of each lodge as representing then in character the King of England, who is just another front and puppet representing the Rothschild, who's just another front and another puppet representing the Vatican, who's just another front and another puppet representing the Hinduism, who's another front and another puppet representing Brahmanism, the ancient Aryan sovereigns running the world from India. And that's why we see it in the word industry, India, industry. And they got the 500-mile race around Indianapolis 500 every year. There's no town square in Indianapolis. It is a circle, and it's intersected with all of these rays of light representing highways coming from all the four directions. Go look at a map. So again, reading the signs and symbols, ladies and gentlemen, tells a story. I like to call them the most worshipful monsters, because that's what they are. They are monsters. And they hate your guts. They hate everybody but themselves. Oh, and they love their funny money and their precious automobiles and their fancy houses and all their image and phony prestige. But here's what Rothschild says to Chucky boy. Hey, Chuck. Prince Charles, heir to the British throne, getting poked in the chest by Evelyn de Rothschild. Now you listen to me, you little twerp king, Chuck. I'm the one giving all the orders here. Okay, boss, do you want me to go clean toilets or do something else? Well, you can clean toilets for now, boy, but we got something really important for you to do. You're going to be a front man. You're going to be an image. Everybody's going to be looking at you instead of looking at me. And then you do what I tell you to do, and you'll be okay. You won't be transcending. You're mother, son of darkness. You'll be drifting out in space for the rest of eternity, wishing you had a body to go back to, but maybe if you're lucky, you will. After you've paid some time for all the people you've sold out on this planet and waged war on them. How many little infants have you taken home with you, huh? Chucky boy? The Jewish Illuminati, okay? It's a fact that the Jews founded, those who call themselves Jews founded the Jesuits. You got Loyola, a Jew, founded the Jesuits. Loyola is another code because it's loyal, and you read it both ways. It's loyal, frontwards and backwards. And it was the Bavarian University in what we call Germany, or Ingolstadt, Germany, and they that's where they learn. Like the Bill Clintons, they go to the Rhodes Scholarship. Chris Christopherson, they were Rhodes scholars, so they went to the School of Rhodes to learn the true history. That's why when they come out of the gate, then they know what the score is. They're insiders, we're outsiders. Same with the University of Loyola. The Jesuits that go there to learn, what do you think they learn? They learn the true history, plus they learn how to speak in code, how to, what the symbols mean. So you got one group on Rhodes Scholarship, the School of Rhodes, the regular puppets, the small lower class. Then you got the Jesuits learning also. So they're all learning the secrets, all learning how to read symbolism, all learning code words, all of that stuff. Signs and signals, symbols, hand signals, all of that stuff is what they learned there. They're loyal to their cause, and the mommy's going to feed them. They won't have to work hard. They get a convent in the back with women they could, have fun with, and they're all thinking they're on, in the religion, like the innocent ones that come in, like the guy who came out, who was a Jesuit, what's his name? I can't remember his name. And he exposed the fact that the that the Jesuits created Islam, and because they wanted to use Islam to destroy all of Eastern Christianity. And now they're gearing up for the World War III, as it said in Albert Pike's book, Morals and Dogma, the 33 Degrees of International Freemasonry, that the Third World War, they will destroy all Christianity. It'll be done with, over, nada. See? And so at the same time, their world is now being destroyed by their foolishness and their modern industrial age. Where now, that's why they got to go underground, because they've destroyed our environment. It's over. If you listen to Dane Wigington, you'll learn more about that. Okay, but the Jewish Illuminati, the Illumined Nazis, because they are Ashkenazis. That's Ashkenazi is an abbreviation for Aisha Cain Nazaré. Aisha Cain Nazaré. Aisha is the royal eye, so they're royal eyes. They think of themselves as the royal eye. Aisha Cain, the offspring of Cain, the brotherhood of Cain, which is where we get the word king. Kingdom is Caindom. Meaning those who are stained in blood. That's what Cain represented, with the red hair, spotted freckles, the stain of blood, and leprosy. That's where we get leprechaun, leopard king. Had the pot of gold kicking his heels because he's real happy. He's doing his job. He's the front warfaring class, and also the puppet kings. The Illuminazis, also known as the International Freemasons. That's what ultimately it became. After the Knights Templars went underground, they killed the lower class because they hate us. They use the lower class, and they make them Freemasons, they make them Knights Templars, but when they're done with them, they kill them, and the other goes underground. That's the way they've been doing it all along. There's no honor among thieves, and if you're goyim, you're goyim. If you're not one of them and you're just hired on, got bought into the illusion, then in the end you go down with the rest of everybody else on the ship. So they claim to have founded America, the Illuminati, on May 1st, and that's why they use the code signal Mayday, Mayday, because that's to remind them, hey, I'm one of you. I'm one of you. Don't forget me over here, Mayday, Mayday. And I'm wearing my dog tags. I'm one of your dogs. And so they founded America on May 1st, 1776, and it's a maxim of law that says that which is first is superior. Okay, so that which is first is superior, and then they gave us the Jew lie. Isn't that so clever of them? To give us the fourth of the Jew lie. It's a Jewish lie, right? Because it's all a lie, isn't it? And so why is it on the fourth? Because the four represents the four directions. It means everywhere. The cross in the four directions means everywhere, and just like news is built upon four letters: north, south, east, and west. The news sounds like Jews, and it is also the north, south, east, and west quadrant, showing that they rule, they control the world, they manage the world. There is no freedom. There's only slave management. You are a slave on the plantation. You've been fooled and lied to all your life. You've never heard truth before. We never went to the moon. There is no money. It's only funny. And they control all the media. While they wage the wars, they create the propaganda films. And after they're done with the war, they make all the movies that say it their way, so that we don't ever get the right pictures and the true events of what really happened behind the scenes. It's the greatest show on earth, ladies and gentlemen. The stage has been set for you a long time ago. The Jewish Illuminati, the Illuminazis, also known as International Freemasons, claim to have founded America on May 1st, 1776, the same day they founded International Communism, right hand, left hand, at Red Square in Moscow. The Illuminati founded America. Illuminati are communists. Illuminati are the Jewish financial organ on the planet. It's the left hand, it's the right hand, it's the hidden hand, and it's the unseen hand that wears the velvet glove and strokes you and makes you feel good until one day they're ready to take the velvet glove off, and then they're going to smack you in the face with cold, hard steel. That's the name of their game. They're everywhere. Apartment. That's why I get gang stalked when I go out, because I know too much. They're coming for me, but they're coming for you. They control the East. They control the West. West means